Once upon a time lived the Akuku kingdom. The Akuku people were guided by the goddess of the sea, Idemili. She brought prosperity and peace to the land. An evil woman in the kingdom who had killed her friend's baby because she could not have hers was sentenced to death. Her name was Ajonwa. She asked that she be killed by the sea. The people thought that she did so that the goddess would forgive her for her sins. But this was not the case. In the sea was an evil creature called Mami Water. She had no power over the Akuku people because of the goddess Idemili. With Ajonwa's sacrifice, the Mami Water gained more power in exchange for Ajonwa, who will be brought back to life. In another part of the kingdom lived Uchechi. Uchechi gave birth to her first child, Amara. She was a precious child. Her parents waited years for her, and finally the gods answered them. Amara was born with a peculiar birthmark on her hand. Her parents did not know what it meant. Both of them had no birthmarks, but they did not care. They were happy. A few months after her birth, the chief priest visited them. Ugo, Uchechi's husband, was surprised to see the chief priest in their compound. Ugo said to the chief priest, "To what do I owe this special visit?" The chief priest was not smiling. He said, "I heard you had a child. I came to see her." Ugo was surprised that he would want to see Amara, but he brought her to him. Once the chief priest saw the baby, he screamed, "Ha! This child is evil. You have to kill it." Uh-uh. Ugo was shocked. "Evil? Who? My child? That's not true. The gods forbid." But the priest insisted that she was evil. She was the cause of their problems. For you see, at this time, the Akuku people were gradually losing their livestock and crops. The chief priest told everyone that Idemili, the goddess, was angry with the villagers. That is why they were suffering. Here was the reason for their suffering, Amara. The chief priest told the king, his cabinet members, and the people, "You see this child? She has to be killed, otherwise we will all die. Things will get worse. She was the cause of their suffering. She was the one that drove the goddess away because she was an evil child." Everyone believed him. The child had to be sacrificed, but her parents rejected this. Amara has always been a happy and cheerful child. She was not mischievous in any way. The people refused to listen to them. No one came to their aid. Under the king's command, Amara was to be killed in order to save the land. Against her parents' wishes, they took her. The chief priest appointed 2 trusted guards to take the child into the evil forest and kill her. Uchechi cried and cried and cried. "Why is this happening to me? Who did I offend? After how many years of waiting for a child, why would the gods let this happen to me?" The 2 guards took the child into the evil forest where they brought out their knives to strike her. But then lightning from nowhere struck the first guard. He fell and died. The second one was scared. He ran away, leaving the child. A dark figure had been following them and saw what had happened. The guard came back to the village and claimed that the child had been killed in a battle against evil, and that is why the other guard had died. Everyone was happy. The guard who came back alive was praised and celebrated. During the day, he looked happy, but at night, he had nightmares. Uchechi and her husband left the village. They could not be in a place where the child was sacrificed. The people did not care. Their problems were over, or so they thought. After a few weeks, things became worse. Even more livestock started dying. There was no single rain, no food. People were dying, children were starving. The king called the chief priest and asked, "What is happening? We have sacrificed the child, but everything is worse. People are dying everywhere." The chief priest said that more sacrifices had to be made. And so, every other week, a family was asked to produce a child for sacrifice. This went on for many years, but still nothing improved. It actually got worse. The cabinet head met with the king. He said that something was really wrong, and the king had to act fast, Otherwise, the land of Akuku will no longer be in existence. What can we do? The king said. We have had sacrifices after sacrifices. The cabinet head said that for some time now he did not trust the chief priest. He has been suspecting him. He is lying and hiding something from us. There was a very powerful chief priestess from the Ahira kingdom, his wife's village. He has talked to the cabinet head there and they had agreed to let the chief priestess help them. The king, hesitant at first, agreed. He wanted to help his people before his kingdom was no more. So the Akuku cabinet head, on a secret mission, went to the Ahera kingdom to get their chief priestess. After a very long journey, they got to the Akuku village. At the entrance of the village, she stopped and screamed, "No! No, 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 no." She said, "I will not enter." What is the problem? The cabinet head asked. The priestess said, "This kingdom is under a very dark spell. The goddess Idemili is no longer here." Cabinet head was surprised at this. "Please help us. How do we get her back?" The priestess asked, "Was a child born here to protect her kingdom?" "No, no child was born." The priestess asked again. "Such a child would have been born in a year where no other child was born. Just that one child." The cabinet head tried to remember, but for the life of him, he could not recall. The priestess said, "Then I cannot help you. The goddess must have sent a child, and that child must have been killed. She was the one who would have led your people out of this darkness." The priestess had turned and started to leave. Then from nowhere, the cabinet head remembered Uchechi and Ugo. He shouted, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. Yes, yes, there was a child. Her name was Amara. She was born after many years of her parents waiting. When she was born, no other child was born that year. But the chief priest asked us to sacrifice her as she was an evil child, and so the child was killed." The priestess kept quiet. She looked up to the sky and laughed. Then she looked at him. "Find that child. She is the key. No one can kill her, as she is the chief priestess of Idemili, the goddess." The cabinet head was happy to hear this. At least now they had a solution to their problem. The problem now was how to find Uchechi and Ugo. He turned to thank the priestess, but she had disappeared. He ran to the palace and told only the king of what had transpired. The issue now was how to find Ugochi and Ugo without alerting their own priest. At this point, the chief priest was powerful. He would take people at will and sacrifice them at the sea. He was getting powerful and powerful with each passing day. He became richer as well. And then he had taken a bride. She was so beautiful, people called her a witch. The king was under fear and threat that at any moment the chief priest would take over the kingdom and he would be killed. Something had to be done. He sent his trusted guards to search for the couple. First of all, they had to find the guard who had been tasked with killing the child. If what the priestess said was true and the child could not be killed, then something must have happened that day. They were able to locate the guard. At this time, he was a madman. He had been asked to give up his own child for sacrifice. He was living in pain and regret. He told the king that on that fateful night, he could not kill the child. Lightning struck and killed the other guard, so he ran away leaving the child. But by now, animals must have eaten her. But the cabinet head did not believe this. He believed the priestess. They just had to find the child and bring her back. So a few trusted guards with the cabinet head went to look for Amara. After journeying through many, many villages, they found them. Ugo did not want to go back. His family was happy here. Although this was not their home, they were safe. It had been 5 years now, and Amara was as kind and cheerful as ever. She was happy. He was not going back. The cabinet head had to beg. He begged him, begged him, begged him. He explained that without Amara, Akuko will be extinct. It was Amara who came in and said she wanted to go back. Her father shouted, "What do you know? These people, they almost killed you. If I did not follow them that night, maybe by now animals would have eaten you." Amara said, "No one can kill me except the goddess." Everyone was shocked. And so the next day, they started their journey back to their Akuko kingdom. Once there, for the first time in 5 years, as Amara set her foot on the land, rain started falling. Everyone was amazed. Amara knelt on the floor and started singing to the goddess. As she sang, the rain continued to fall. People who were sick were standing up. And then finally, the chief priest came out. He shouted, "Kill her! Kill her! Who let her in here? You are dead!" No one did as he said. Everyone just looked at him. Amara did not even turn. She kept singing. He raised his staff to use his magic on her, but lightning struck and broke the staff into half. His wife, standing next to him, started shaking. She was shaking like a snake. "Help me," she shouted. It was as if she was in pain. No one went to her. Her body turned into Ajonwa. Then her body turned into a snake. Then her body turned into the sea creature known as Mami Water. "Hey!" Everybody shouted and left. They ran away. The creature stood up to strike Amara, but the priestess of our kingdom appeared. She struck her down. "How dare you? You do not belong here. Flee, you evil one." Amara kept singing. The rain kept falling. Then from nowhere, a very powerful lightning struck the Mami Water. She screamed in pain and then disappeared. The dark cloud that surrounded the people of Akuku was lifted. Amara stopped singing and then she stood up. The priestess then turned to the people of Akuku. "Shame on you," she said. "You killed an innocent child. This child was your answered prayer from the goddess. And this evil man," she pointed at the chief priest, "was under a dark spell to connive to kill her." Ajonwa was such an evil woman that her blood was able to awaken the Mami Water creature. That creature worked tirelessly to corrupt your chief priest, and it worked. Your chief priest, refusing to give up power to the next priestess, had joined forces with the Mami Water to become more powerful and remain in control. It was Idemili seeing what was happening that sent this child to you. The chief priest was on the floor, shaking like a fool. Amara turned to him. She said a few incantations and turned him into a chicken. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you to those who have subscribed. Thank you to those who have supported. Until next time, goodbye.